Okay, everyone, this is from the Scientology thread. I don't really know how this works because I find a lot of different stories in this, so, because you know there's infiltration, of course. Imagine trying to negate millions of people. So this was posted a month ago from Oblique. In your opinion, other than disconnection, what is the single most destructive thing about Scientology? I'll go first. I think it's the concept that children are just adults in kids' bodies. That idea has allowed them to justify the abuse of children on a mass scale. Even on its face, it's disgusting. Funky girl. Lying to people with addiction. Narconon is not upfront that it's a Scientology program. They are not honest that the treatment consists of the first communications course and Elron's bullshit purification rundown. They aren't honest that patients receive no care from a medical doctor, no psych meds for dual diagnosis, and the staff are people who just finished treatment. How's that for slave labor? People are dead because of Narconon. People who didn't choose Scientology. Oblique, 100% agree. That shit is evil. Making drug addicts do trance-inducing objectives is objectively harmful. That's what black magic is, do harm. People doing what you might call like light magic or positive magic, it's do no harm. Black magic is all about harm. Infamous insect. That's a cute name. Victim blaming. The notion that everything bad that happens to you, adults and children alike, is because you pulled it in. The issue isn't the person who mugged you, or worse. To those in the cult, it's because you did something bad and deserve it. For the right amount of money, they'll fix you. Oblique, absolutely. I have Tourette's and various other disorders and syndromes. I was told by so many people in Scientology that it was 1, my fault, 2, curable with Scientology. I had to fight to attest to clear after having said the stupid clear cog in an NED session because I still had Tourette's. They literally told me that I couldn't possibly be clear because of that. It's also stupid and fucked up. Financial abuse. Oblique, 100%. I had to declare bankruptcy because I was coerced into donating with the promise that it would create so much free theta that I would surely come back to me tenfold. I tried to pay it off for years. I eventually had to declare when I lost my business during COVID. Vasectomy 7. That's a weird name to me. Stories of the chase wave are absolutely wild. They took the victim's information, then committed identity theft, and opened up multiple credit cards. I mean, thank God that some of that money is paying that overtime to the cops and helping pay for those officers' organizations, right? I mean, you know, what did that one officer say? It's good money. Overnight, the victim was blasted with tens of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. Oblique, I was a victim of the Chase Wave scam. Infamous insect. The hypocrisy of registrars having pre-filled out credit card applications ready to use on unsuspecting public when their high-pressure sales tactics actually work is astounding, especially considering how they are taught to adhere to and revere Hubbard's written words. Many forget that he also wrote this: never get into debt. Always pay cash. My parents used to say that as well. Buy what you need, not what you want. I agree with that. And only when you can afford it. Okay, this is a policy letter dated 28 January 1965, how to maintain credit standing in solvency. Wasn't that instruction to Scientology orgs about their finances? Not long afterwards, Hubbard wrote Mission Order 375, read by registrars regarding paying public. Advanced courses are the most valuable service on the planet. Life insurance, cars, stocks, bonds, college savings are all transitory and impermanent. There is nothing to compare with advanced courses. They are infinitely valuable and transcend time itself. That sounds like a gaslight, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Coco Chanel, the relentless judgment that encourages reporting on each other. Kind of like the Nazis. Must be a coincidence. They're all into occultism, but you know. Avoidance of health experts and other were the special people ideas. Other religions and groups have perfectionistic ideas. But they're one part of how this one was built. LRH even codified them. Oblique, yes. It's the Narcissist Olympics. V Snow, 2nd Gen. Ex-Sea Org. I can't get past the trafficking in the Sea Org. Lists and lists of people on decks who want to leave, including children and pregnant women, and spending months putting them through reprogramming that leaves them mentally broken. They took part of my childhood and all of my 20s and then told me I owed them $100,000 for training and review auditing. Yeah, that's not debt slavery, is it? The FPRD/TRD style leaving sec check drove me insane and left me unable to function or speak out for years. Goodbye statute of limitations. Took me over a decade to understand I was groomed and trafficked. I wonder how many other Surge O's are out on the street after being discarded. And don't get me started on the forced abortion times. I know so many broken women mourning their unborn children still. Apparently, Hubbard had an obsession with abortions. The word on the curb is that he performed them himself on some of his wives. Oblique. I totally agree. I was never in the Sea Org myself, but I saw friends go through the routing out process. It was so incredibly destructive. It fucked them up. Yeah, routing out doesn't work. If anyone under the radar is listening, don't even waste your time. Dry Mix 3780. It's very sad. I wanted to leave 3 times. Finally, on the 3rd time, after being separated and forced to work and shamed every day, for 3.5 months they let me go. My confidence was crashed. It took me 2.5 years and a good partner when I started to see the way out. It's really bad when they force a reality on you that's not yours. That's what the news does. Pomanaus, 81. Even though the statute of limitations is up, there may still be a chance of justice. Yeah, we can hope. We can hope for a pretend justice. Because, most of the justice we see, it's a pretend justice. The fact that many people are so broken after leaving and don't realize they have been abused is very common, and I'm pretty sure this law firm know the way around it. Please reach out to Andrews and Thornton. And that's victimshavevoices.com. I believe Hagishbasher created that. Blueberry yogurt cup. That's what happens to you. It's your fault for not being perfect. Oblique. Yes, this mentality fucked me up. I'm working hard to undo it, but it's an uphill battle. I blame myself for everything. That's really sad. See, that's what they want you to do. Just like narcissists. Everything's your fault. Am I Safe app. Gaslighting the victims of abuse, saying everything that happens with them is their fault. Pretty traumatizing and can definitely worsen the depression. Oblique, most definitely. Hopefulness. I agree with you. The teachings that justify the abuse of children are the worst. Most harmful part, aside from that, their discouraging members to seek mental health treatment has also cost many lives. Oblique, yes, absolutely. I have finally sought mental health treatment, and it has done more for me in 6 months than a lifetime of trying to handle it with Scientology. Hopefulness says, very happy that you're free and healing. Prayer hands. The Sneakster, ex-Sea Org independent Scientologist. You guys, I know this might be judgmental, but I'm very sus of independent people. The independent Scientologists. I'll read it anyways. In my opinion, the single most destructive aspect of official corporate Scientology, but yet they're still utilizing these policies, aren't they? That have child abuse written into them, is the insane notion that anyone anywhere is ever going to save mankind by sacrificing their own spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. I believe that's stealing souls. Sacrificing their family and the lives of their children, as well as sacrificing all their friendships and every other human relationship outside of the highly toxic Sea Org cult. Who else believes in who else believes in sacrificing? And they never stop talking about it, especially when it's talking about soldiers or sailors or Marines sacrificing their lives. It must be a coincidence. I don't know whether mankind can be saved from threat of total atomic annihilation still hanging over our collective heads. See Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists and their famous doomsday clock. I want to comment so badly, but I'm not going to touch it. But the Sea Org cult is certainly not going to be the one to save it. Free Zone and Proud. There are many candidates, and I am nodding at many of your answers. But I have to go with the same fault that creates all sorts of cults. Promising two simple answers to complex questions. Network marketing. I feel like that is a foundation for many of the other sins you all mention. I think a lot of these self-help gurus and I think their pyramid schemes are the same thing. Oblique, 100% agree. Those simple answers end up becoming thought-stopping cliches in platitudes of derision. Scientologists are so eager to write anyone off as low-toned or in theta. When they don't completely agree, it becomes an echo chamber of bad ideas. That's what the evildoers love, is an echo chamber. I'd add to that the concept that certainty equals sanity. I'm finding it's actually quite the opposite. Everything I'm working on in therapy surrounds the concept of being okay with things being uncertain, letting go, giving up control. My life in Scientology taught me that my sanity was equal to how certain I was that I could control everything. Part of my ongoing deconstruction of it all is learning how to let go of all that. Page zeros. Also throwing down for victim blaming. Not just a concept in ethics, as pulling it in is an incredibly fucked up idea, but the many layers of it. It's not just about being a victim, because victims are still ultimately innocent, even if they share blame. But the way overts and withholds work in Scientology, that they manage to warp a basic idea that people are fundamentally good. See bad things happen to a person because they are self-sabotaging, either directly or through spiritual power. And they purposefully hurt themselves because they are aware that all the bad things they do need to be punished and that their own power needs to be limited to prevent them from doing more harm. You do it all to yourself. That a perfectly nice and otherwise kind and empathic Scientologist can see a homeless person or an addict or an abuse victim or someone with a severe disability and call them a degraded being and wonder what terrible, awful things that person must have done to be in that situation is fucked. It's an empathy-terminating cliche. To coin a phrase, you can just ignore the bad things happening to other people because not only is it their own fault, but helping them in any material way would not work and be counterproductive. Anyone who has been around Scientologists, when they talk about DBs, knows this. After that, Scientology's weird American prosperity gospel relationship with money and success is also toxic as hell. Good people are financially successful because they're good and deserve it, no matter how bad they obviously are. And if you're not, then it's a you problem. If you were good and bad, better tone 40 or whatever, you'd be successful too. Ignore all the real world circumstances and just focus on that. Wasn't Gavin Potter didn't he have really good stats? Oblique, excellent points. Scientology and mega churches are more and more alike every day. Yeah, must be a coincidence, huh? Fidgeting macro. Critic, I'm the devil. That's easy. Abuse of children. Finally. Hubbard had this notion that children were adults in little bodies. So a child could be treated as an adult, be given adult jobs and forced to work 100 hours or more a week like an adult. A Scientology adult, that is. They also have kids as young as 9 or 10 sign lifetime service contracts. A 9-year-old has no idea what they will be doing next week. Dragging them into the Sea Org and making them sign that idiotic billion-year contract is an obscenity for adults, let alone children. This is not even mentioning the physical and mental abuse that Scientology kids reportedly endure. Oblique, I 100% agree. This is probably my biggest issue personally. This should be everyone's issue. That 70's clear. Mod X. Since all the good simple ones are taken, I'll go. For a big and messy one, during 1964 to 7, Ron made some huge changes toward authoritarianism. Don't you guys wonder if that was specifically done to lure people in? You know, they were all happy. It just seemed like a decent, they were just doing certain things. And it was very laid back. Now we got them trapped. Now we're gonna really bear down on them. Kind of reminds me of the Diddy parties, where people couldn't leave. They had to give up their phone, but what do I know? Before he had auditors ask PCs about their cases, but in R6EW, the clearing course OT2 and OT3, he told people what was wrong with them. A bunch of exactly described implants. He came up with SPs, KSW, SP declares, fair game, disconnection, the Simon Bolivar policy, chaplain's court, ethics conditions, and the Sea Org. There had been an ugly bit of Scientology justice system earlier, but what little there was of it was covered in confidential HCO material, and it became a huge deal during this period. There was obviously creepy stuff going on before that. Look at the breakup of his second marriage, for example. But I don't think that the abuses, which came after, would have been possible without the cultifying changes he made in those 4 years. Also, let's not forget he was in the OTO. Does anyone know if Marilyn Manson was in that? Just so everyone knows, a lot of these people were created in like a lab environment. That's all I'm going to say. Couple 4 and 1250. Hubbard's malign narcissism being Scientology's very DNA. That's probably good to look at. Tomb Reaper, they want all your money and your time. We live in a parasitic world. Oblique, yep, sure do. Pitsy Stritzy, everything bad that ever happens to you is entirely your fault. Same as narcissism. Oblique, they make a pro sport out of victim blaming. Mrs. MC Black, it's a money-making scheme. L. Ron Hubbard's famous saying was to get rich, start a religion. They should pay taxes because it's a business. I think all religions are businesses and should pay taxes. I agree. All by design. Oblique, no disagreements here. One Construction 7684. They bought out several cult detection hotlines and services to prevent their victims from being saved by their families. Sorry to interrupt, but I've talked about it. A lot of those victim hotlines that are supposed to help traffic children, bring the children straight back. I'm just letting you know. They practically kidnap people, make it impossible to track them down, then strip all lifelines from people who just want to help their loved ones. Fuck Scientology. Oblique. Yes, fuck Scientology. And not in the Michael Hobson way, the other way. People agree. PTS, don't trigger me. Auditing is pseudoscience. It resembles traditional forms of therapy and interrogation and MK Ultra and trauma-based mind control. But importantly, those have various evidence behind them, and people can look up the studies supporting or debunking modalities. It's like comparing chiropractic to actual medicine. One is real, the other is just made up. Well, I believe in chiropractic. This can be very destructive as it purports to improve outcomes without real evidence. Oblique, I totally agree. Monopike. Easy, the money they extort from people. So much wealth amassed on complete fabrication and exploitation of people's sensibilities. Just horrible. It is horrible. Doesn't it remind you of all those hotlines they put up when national disasters happen? Like Haiti and other ones? Throwaway educovictim. Discord servers of anti-Scientology. LARPers. Oblique, not sure I understand this one. Deleted, said disassociation. I suspect some of these posts are infiltrations. Or maybe people are just getting a good laugh. Could be. Like, does little Davy get audited? That is kind of funny if you think about it. But again, to me, it's distraction. But again, you know, people have a right to get a good laugh sometimes. I'm just looking to see what's here. Now, isn't this interesting? Is Jenna Miscavige controversial, and if so, why? Why would she be controversial? She's just telling the truth. You mad, bro? You mad, right? Talking about how she did people's laundry when she was 5 and 6 years old. Wasn't allowed to see her parents. Her parents just kind of just left her out there in the wind. Huh? Must be mad, bro. Okay, you guys, I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.